Hey, welcome back everybody. I'm Lou, and this is Metal Lens Reviews. Welcome to my channel. So, if this happens to be your first time here, checking it out, you like what you see, thank you. Please do me that favor of like, comment, subscribe. As I mentioned before, it really helps me grow the channel, spread it to the masses, and of course motivates me to provide you guys with more content. Alright, so what are we doing here? Well, we're going to be reacting to a band I haven't reacted to in some time. Kino. It's Russian for cinema. It's funny because I think I mentioned this before, but there's a Blu-ray DVD distributor named Kino, and I get the correlation. I was like, oh, I've heard that name before. But I thought that was interesting. I didn't know it meant, cinema in Russian. It was pretty interesting. But yeah, Kino. Best way I could describe them is a band that's able to encapsulate that sound that they got big in. So Kino, I believe, came up late 70s, 80s maybe a little bit before that, not sure, but just their music sounds like from that era. And even some of the modern interpretations, the main singer's passed away, but what they do is they still come together for events. I don't know if they're still touring or not. But what to do is the band, surviving members of the band will get together and have the lead singer's, music. Well, his vocals play in the background while they do the music live. So I think that's a good way to pay respect to, a former band member. But yeah, it's been a while. I knew I'd come around to them again. The song is called "Close the Door, I'm Taking Off." That must have been a hell of a translation, because I noticed Google Translate sometimes messes it up, especially when it comes to Russian. So, if this is a wrong title, let me know in the comments below. But anyway, also, this is a more of a compact version of this video. So the original basically is just more ambiguous scenery. That's all. It's like a little music video, a little short film. But so this is... There's nothing missing here as far as performance. This is a complete performance music video by them, just trimmed a little bit to, I guess, help it move along. But it's the complete song. So that should be interesting. And there's subtitles. So yeah. Alright guys, well, let me stop yapping. I'm going to cue this video up. I'm going to check it out together. Alright. Once again, this is Kino with "Close the Door, I'm Taking Off."
Они говорят, им нельзя рисковать, потому что у них есть дом. В доме горит свет. И я не знаю точно, кто из нас прав. Меня ждет на улице дождь, их ждет дома обед. Закрой за мной дверь, я ухожу. Закрой за мной дверь, я ухожу.
It's interesting. God, it had such a artistic approach that just screams 80. And it's funny, they're being on the other side of the wall. Because whether you like it or not, if you deep dive into communist Russia, their history, they weren't allowed to really incorporate Western music that much. It was kind of closed off. But, regardless, it's still there, you know what I mean? And I still hear the influences. There was bands that I've compared them to, and I'm not saying they're duplicates, I'm just saying I hear the influences. Bands like, The Clash, The Cult, the Depeche Mode, even some U2. It's different, but they're able to have those influences or those sounds from those previous bands I mentioned and incorporate it and doing their own thing. Other than that, like I said, it's very unique. It's very Russian. But it still has that vibe, that, 80s, almost punk, alternative kind of feel, but also the undertones of kind of, like it has a gothy undertone, like that, London After Midnight kind of feel. Yeah. But everyone's on point. In fact, I love the fact that you could hear all the instruments. I could hear the bass, which is like a rarity. The drums, crisp, the guitar playing just on point. And the vocals, just him doing his thing. Like, to say he's like this grandioso, great singer, like the Mosh or whatever. No, but he fits, you know what I mean? And obviously the band now, when they play recent events, paying respects by having his vocals, come through a monitor and them playing along to it. I think that's a pretty honorable way. I mean, when you look at bands like, who was it? Well, anyway, I don't know if they still do this, but like Dio, for example, they toured with a hologram of Ronnie James Dio, so could they have selected a vocalist, a temporary vocalist? Sure, but they wanted to honor him, I guess, in that way, and sometimes it's tasteful, sometimes it's not. So what they did is they took the original singer's vocals, isolated, and have a live band, the original band, or whoever's left, play along with that. So, you're able to capture the essence a little bit. It might be a shadow of its former self, but it's still there. The soul is still kicking, and it's pretty decent. It's the fact that they have the courage to keep going. I don't know if they created newer music since. I'll let you guys update me on that. But so far, yeah. I mean, what a remarkable career, and to have, that little struggle of, the Iron Curtain behind you, but you're able to reach out and just gain because I've seen, live clips of them, and it's amazing. They're able to fill up these large auditoriums, and it's incredible. For a band that most Americans probably haven't heard of. The only reason why I heard of them was because they were recommended to me. But yeah, they're catchy, and they're up there. They're able to compete with their peers from across the ocean. So, and that's saying a lot. All right, let's keep going.
Если тебя вдруг наскучит твой ласковый свет, тебе найдется место у нас, дождя хватит на всех. Посмотри на часы, посмотри на портрет на стене, прислушайся там за окном, и услышишь наш смех. Закрой за мной дверь, я ухожу. Закрой за мной дверь, я ухожу. Закрой за мной дверь, я ухожу. Закрой за мной дверь, я ухожу.
And another thing you gotta appreciate is their music is danceable. You don't get that sometimes. I mean, you do and you don't. Like, I don't expect this to be, maybe remixed, but, you wouldn't hear a song like this being played at some, 80s club or whatever. But then again, because they kind of fall in that category, yeah, they have the goth elements there, that new wave 80s style stuff. I do hear faint shades of Depeche Mode and the Clash and the Cult. And like I said, I hear some of especially in the singing, the melody of U2 kind of comes to mind. But once again, holding it on their own. They give me ideas of who they sound like, bands that I know I can recognize, but as a whole, they're independent. They're doing their own thing. And like I said, just wow. Kudos to them for just keeping up for so long in a different era where, freedom of choice wasn't really top priority, maybe. But just being musically creative and, hammering too until, recently. I mean, it's unfortunate that, two of the band members can't be there, but they're able to keep that spirit and keep going. And I think that's pretty cool. I like seeing bands, if they have to call it quits, they call it quits, but I like seeing bands continue and try to at least establish themselves again and capture that essence of who they were, even though that might be a little hard to do. But, I see it more and more. I see a lot of unions, a lot of former bands that called it quits years ago coming back, reuniting, doing reunion tours. It's cool. It's cool. I like it. It's a cool movement, and I hope it keeps going, because what you do is you're opening the door for newer fans to come in and experience it. Even if this isn't on anyone's Spotify playlist, still, I guarantee you, someone who likes the bands I mentioned, to Depeche Mode, Clash, Cure, yada, 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 Kino will probably pop up in the recommendeds, and people are going to recognize that similarity and be like, oh, and the niche right there, the niche quality, is them being Russian and carrying that uniqueness that you wouldn't hear from, let's say, like a band from the West or some European group, because they're very, it's kind of what you see is what you get. It's almost like the essence of punk. It's very raw sounding. I could hear the instruments. It's not as distorted. The guy's not using any vocal modulators. It's natural. Maybe a little reverb in there, but it's just, raw, essential music. And, they're able to bring in such an audience, even today, because they made a name for themselves. And I imagine not just through Russia, probably through Eastern Europe, and so on and so forth. They have fan bases everywhere. And you got to admit, that's pretty impressive. All right, let's keep going.
Закрой за мной дверь, я ухожу. 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 Закрой за мной дверь, я ухожу.
Nice. Yeah, that was interesting. And like I said, while I could hear the similarities between the Clash, Cure, Depeche Mode, Kino still kind of bringing it to the table, doing their own thing. And yeah, it's different. It's refreshing. It's a good change of pace. I think people should always expose themselves to new music. Doing reaction videos like this, I have the opportunity to do that, and it's cool. Every day it's a new thing. Sometimes I'll have a set list of bands or groups that I'll want to get to, or suggestions from you guys. But Kino was just kind of in between me listening to different Russian artists. I don't know I forgot if someone told me about them in the comments or they just kind of popped up. But yeah. And the fact that they even after two essential band members, kick the bucket, they're able to continue. That's impressive. It's impressive. So yeah, they got started in 81, 1990, 2012, 2019, up until today. Okay, so Victor and Gregory? Gregory? So those two guys passed away. Alright, well, that just goes to show you, though. Despite losing band members, you could kind of pick up the torch and continue on. And they do it in a very unique way, which is, pretty awesome. And, not too recent, but I've seen, I guess, in clips, live performances like, modern day, mid early 2000s, I think. And they still bring in an audience. So they must have made a huge impression on, the Russian people throughout the Soviet era to now. And I seen people still singing along to it. And, they're catchy. They're not, like I said, not these extravagant, complicated songs with all these different parts. It's very straightforward, in your face. Has elements of that, new wave, synth, punk, goth rock kind of feel to it. Like some early English band, whatever. But still able to maintain just enough originality to make a difference. And I think it's cool. I think people should give them a chance, if you like this kind of music, but yeah, that's Kino for you. All right, guys, well, there you have it. That was Kino, a Russian band called with the song Close the Door, I'm Taking Off. I love these titles. Hey, look, if you made it this far in the video, thank you. Please do me that favor of like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to contribute to the channel, or throw out a song suggestion, a recommendation, I'll leave a link down below. Buy me a coffee. You could do it through that link. Other than that, thanks again, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Peace.